Hello, and welcome to Ancient Greek Civilization. This is the first time that I'm leading a course online at Co, but I've done so several times at the University of Iowa. It saddens me that we can't meet in person, but I've devised some ways around this difficulty, I think, and I'm pretty sure that we will have an enjoyable and educational experience nonetheless. My name is Professor Dr. Joshua Langseth. Please do call me Josh. I graduated from the University of Iowa with a PhD in classical studies. My major areas of research interest are ancient religion and ancient philosophy and how those two interact or intersect. I've been teaching classics at Co since 2010, mostly the Greek and Latin languages, but also civilization classes, like this one. So, this slide breaks down what we are going to be doing and how credit for your final grade is going to be allocated. The first item is the tutorial discussion. I'll have more to say about this a little bit later on the next slide. The short version is that this is where class discussion is going to happen. I will meet with you students in very small groups once a week to discuss your progress on the syllabus. You will share the work that you have been doing, I will critique it, and then the group will launch into more in-depth discussion. During these tutorials, you will present an original 300 to 500 word essay on an assigned topic, which is what will start our discussion. After our tutorial session is over, you will send me your essay using the Dropbox that I have placed on the course Moodle page for me to grade separately from the discussion. The essays and the discussions together will cover 50% of your final grade. You will also be assigned a 5 to 7 page paper during the course of the semester. You should plan to do a good job on your paper, since it will be worth a quarter of your final grade. Details about the paper assignment will be given to you in a couple of weeks. There will also be a midterm and a final exam. Both will be open book and open note exams. They will not be cumulative. The most distinctive feature of the way this class is going to operate is the tutorial. The American higher education model employs an average of 3 weekly hours of combined lecture and class discussion. I believe that this model is poorly adapted to the digital communication technology that we possess today, and I suspect, or I fear, that it will be so until we have the sort of immersive television paneled rooms featured in the book Fahrenheit 451. That is why for our class, I am going to adopt the tutorial system that was developed at Oxford University in or before the 15th century and is still in use there today. This model, with its small groups, is much more compatible with digital media like Zoom, or at least so I suspect. The general outline of the Oxford tutorial is described in Will Moore's The Tutorial System and Its Future. There are also many YouTube videos that you can watch on the tutorial. The student attends assigned lectures and composes a weekly essay on an assigned topic with an assigned reading list. Then, the student delivers their work in a very small group, 1 to 3 students, at weekly meetings, typically lasting 1 hour, with the instructor for critique and discussion. That is what we are going to be doing in the digital form. Students will be assigned 15 to 20 minute pre-recorded lectures to watch and will work through the required readings on the syllabus. But you, will also meet with me in a Zoom meeting for 1 hour per week together in groups of 2 to 3 students for regularly scheduled tutorials for you to deliver, discuss, and for you to deliver, defend, and discuss your assigned essays. The other regular 2 hours of weekly class time will be redirected to watching instructional videos and working harder on your assignments, with the full understanding that the instructor will always be available for help and consultation via email or video conference. You're going to be assigned a tutorial partner, or possibly 2 partners, and will meet with me once per week for 1 hour via Zoom to discuss your progress. We will find a mutually agreeable date and time for your regular hour of tutorial. Even when other students are reading during tutorial, you may be called upon to participate. I will allow you to miss 1 tutorial without it affecting your final grade. Beyond that, I will excuse only 1 absence. I will excuse absences only in the case of extreme emergency. This is the first book we are going to be reading in class. It is Thomas R. Martin's Ancient Greece. This is a brief history of ancient Greece that will give us a narrative framework for what happened in ancient Greece. We will be talking in broad strokes about ancient Greek history in this class, but we will be doing so in a slightly unconventional way. It is usual to narrate Greek history from the point of view of one Greek city in particular, Athens. There are some pretty understandable reasons for this. The major one is that Athens had a flourishing literary culture in its day, and it is from that city that we simply have the most writing. In this class, we will be trying to take a slightly different approach and look at Greek history from the point of view of a different Greek city-state, Sparta. Our major sources for Spartan history and society are collected in Melvin Cooley's new Sparta source book. It will probably seem pretty dry when you first start it, but our challenge will be to take the information that we find and make an interesting and intelligible narrative out of it, one that is interesting and intelligible to us. Most ancient Greek authors were men who wrote for men from a male who wrote about men for a male audience. The history of ancient Greek women is not wholly lost, but even more fragmentary and difficult to interpret than usual. Of the many books written about ancient Greek women, we will keep with our theme for the semester and work through Sarah Pomeroy's book, Spartan Women. Also, one of my major interests in the study of ancient Greek antiquity is ancient Greek religion. John Michelson's book, Ancient Greek Religion, is probably the best introduction that is available. With a word of caution, he calls his book Ancient Greek Religion, but really he focuses often on ancient Athenian religion, again because that is where the most literature survives from. We will read through his book and compare what we find with accounts of Spartan religion in Cooley's source book. Some of the most recognizable products of ancient Greek society are its works of art, especially in marble, which was and is plentiful on the Greek mainland and some of the islands. Susan Woodford's book, An Introduction to Greek Art, will be our introduction to ancient Greek art and architecture. Finally, we will move forward in time and dip into Hellenistic Greece to read Alexander Jones's book about the Antikythera mechanism. If you have not heard about this gizmo, I highly encourage you to do a Google search and read up just a little bit. For one thing, we learn from the recovery of this object that the ancient Greeks knew about gear work to an extent we never suspected. After you watch the next video, Compose a 1 to 2 page double-spaced essay on one that answers the following prompt. It will be very important for you to send this to me via the Dropbox that I'm setting up on the Moodle page, so that I can use your answers to assign you a tutorial partner that I think you will work well with. And I already see a typing error in the first line. You are to compose a 300 to 500 word essay that answers the following prompt. Use this initial essay to introduce yourself a little bit. Specifically, what are your goals as a student, and what drew you to a class about ancient Greek civilization? What, in the end, do you hope to get out of the study of ancient Greek civilization? Then, begin to apply the first 100 pages of Martin's book on Greek history to this goal. Discuss and analyze 2 things that you learned from the first chapters of the book. Cite them by author and page number, for example, Martin 45. After your 300 to 500 word essay, please include your schedule for the semester so that I can find a convenient time to meet with you and your tutorial partner for your weekly meetings.